Hey everyone, today you're going to learn how to easily make a one-shot for your D&D campaigns. And don't get me wrong, I love longer campaigns that can go on for months or even years, but sometimes that's not always an option due to schedule conflicts, time constraints, or just being too much of a commitment. So for these situations, you're going to need a one-shot. Real quick, if you don't know, a one-shot is like a miniature self-contained episode or little story that takes place over one single session, like one shot. Usually I think of them as lasting around 2 hours, but it can just kind of depend. And oftentimes you don't finish and it leads to 2 or 3 shots. But the story's just so good, so what are you gonna do? Now, one-shots can be useful for a couple different reasons. Maybe some players can't make the session, but some of you still want to play and just not do the main story. You want to check out different play styles, eras, settings, anything like that. If someone wants to be a dungeon master for the first time, one-shot is perfect. You don't need to start a whole ass campaign at once. Or when you forget you're supposed to be the dungeon master for the night and you just need to come up with something really quick just to have fun for a couple of hours. Alright, so that's when or why you might use a one-shot, but the rest of the video is going to be about how to actually design one. And we're going to make it super simple for you. Just stick around to the end and you will be running a one-shot in no time. So the very first thing you want to do is start with the end in mind. So think about what kind of experience you want the players to have. Are you trying to make a gladiator style, just battle royale? Are you trying to make a chaotic gladiator style battle royale? Or do you want to design a haunted manor filled with secrets and traps everywhere? Think of yourself as someone who's actually playing the one shot. What are you feeling as you're going through it? Hold on to that feeling. Hold that feeling very near and dear to you, because we're going to pick it apart and figure out what we can do to cause that feeling. For now, just keep it nice and general. This is just going to be the primary concept, just the looseness of what we're working with. Another thing to consider is, who is the audience? Are you just playing this with friends? Are you trying to publish it? Do they have a lot of experience playing? What sort of settings or house rules are they maybe used to? How much time are you going to have to complete this? And what level do you want the people to be? Ideally, you want to design your one-shot around the players' preferences and play styles, and of course, making sure that you are having fun in the process. It's a game. You just need to have fun. If people just love dungeon crawls, then give them a massive dungeon where they can just go in, get some treasure, and kill some shit. Or if it's a group of new people, maybe you really make it just one room where a couple of things happen. And when you're thinking about this, remember the 3 main pillars of Dungeons & Dragons actually playing. There's combat, there's role-playing or social situations, and then there's exploring. So if there's one of those that you like or that your players like, just make a little bit more of that and a little bit less of another one. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is choose a MacGuffin. If you don't know, that's just a general name for any special item, treasure, artifact. It's something that makes the story go. There is a story because of it. So a few examples could be lost relics, powerful magical weapons, hoard of treasure, someone of importance who has been kidnapped, or some other weird, crazy magical effect. So now think about this MacGuffin in relation to your primary concept. Primary concept happened because of this. So a real quick example of this could be Curse of the Korro Swamp. Primary concept: the party is exploring a mysterious and dangerous swamp. MacGuffin: a fallen star has crashed down. So when you combine them, the party is exploring a mysterious and dangerous swamp because a fallen star has crashed down into the bog. But now you can see how that MacGuffin could be changed out for anything else. They're exploring the swamp because a planar gate appeared there. An ancient weapon is located there. A gang of pesky kobolds lives there, etc., etc. You get the point. Next, I'm going to give you a formula to make sure that you keep it simple, or stupid if you're stupid. And that's going to be 1 meaningful social encounter plus 2 combat encounters plus 3 scenes equals your awesome one-shot. Alright, so a meaningful social interaction or encounter. Don't overcomplicate this too much. You don't need the politics and history of an entire region. A meaningful encounter could just be the NPC that speaks with the players initially, gives them some information, and sends them on their way. Or maybe this could be a conversation between the bad guys and the players as they're mid-battle, and the players see things from their perspective. The next thing you need to do is come up with the combat encounters, and this can be a little tricky if you've never done anything like this. So I highly recommend you go check out Kobold Fight Club. So you can go onto here, pick your party level, pick the number of players in the party. You can either generate stuff randomly or just look through a bunch of different monsters and see as you add them into the encounter how much the difficulty goes up. Since this is just for a one-shot and they're probably not going to be taking a long rest, you can make this a hard or even deadly encounter. It doesn't really matter because it's just for fun. Now finally, you're going to develop 3 scenes for your one-shot, and I consider a scene to be anything where the Dungeon Master gives a more full, detailed description and things kind of take place there for a little bit. There's nothing special or magical about having 3. It just works really well because the pattern is 1 and then 2 and then 3. So I just kept going with it because I like it. Because numbers make the brain happy. So I've actually written a whole article on how you can describe scenes really easily. But real quick, things you might want to jot down are going to be the size, a general description of the room. What is the lighting like? What senses are the PCs experiencing? Do they smell something? What do they hear? What do they see? Is it humid? Is it dry? Like really though, just what is the vibe, you know? So here are 3 scenes I could use in my example one-shot, Curse of the Korro Swamp. Scene 1. As the party approaches a buzzing town square, people are just shouting over each other, one after the other. You see up on a podium is an old man. Things quiet down a little bit as he gives an overview of whatever's happening. There's a fallen star and stuff. After he's done talking, he notices the adventurers, approaches them, and asks for help. The first scene is probably where you're going to have your meaningful social interaction, but if your group's really into roleplay, you might have a couple of these. Scene number 2. The party is making their way through the swamp. The only usable pathway leads to a small camp of gnolls. This presents the party with a few different options. They can charge a direct attack, they can try to sneak around, they can try to negotiate or learn information from them, and of course, any other random shit that your players come up with, because who fucking knows? And scene 3, the final scene, the players arrive at the fallen star. The space debris landed in a significantly deeper portion of the swamp. Large chunks of this fallen star can form an island in the middle, surrounded by black, murky water. Within the water, you see dark shapes swimming around, slowly moving underneath. This gives them another choice of kind of how they're going to approach this. What are they going to do? It gives them lots of room for creative thinking and different uses of abilities that they might not normally get to use. And those are the basic guidelines you want to use when you're making your one-shot. It's a little railroady, but it just gets players straight into the action. And if you're not doing a long campaign, then you probably do just want to get right to things. All right, your turn. Go through these questions to help you build out your one-shot. Your answers could be a few sentences or a couple paragraphs. It really just depends how much you want to put into it. Question number 1. What is your primary concept? Question number 2, who is the one-shot intended for? Question number 3, what is the MacGuffin used to prompt action? What drives the story forward? Question number 4, who is the party going to interact with socially? Who are they going to talk to? What kind of information can they gain from it? Number 5, what combat encounters are they going to be facing during their journey? And number 6, what scenes are these going to be taking place in? Where is all of this happening? You can come up with just a few sentences for each scene that if you want, you can read it aloud, just that whole sentence. Or what I like to do is just come up with a couple different bullet points that describe the senses that players are perceiving when they enter this scene. Thanks for watching. If you want to see more stuff like this, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend about it. And if you want to get access to a bunch of awesome 5e content, go check out my Patreon. 80 pages of creatures, magic items. There's a new class, Ward Weavers, multiple different locations, random tables, all for just $8. It would really mean a lot if you went and checked it out. All right, bye-bye.